I'm Claire from Created the Ottaway. I'm an independent demonstrator for Stampin'Up in the UK. I've been a demonstrator, dare I say, nearly 7 years, but I've only been doing YouTube for the last sort of 6 to 8 months. So I'm fairly new to it, so if you like what you see, subscribe and you will get notification of more videos. If you think you could give me a few pointers in what I'm doing, leave a comment or get in touch. So this is the card that we are doing today. It's a 4-sided card, quite tricky to see from this camera angle, but it also folds flat to go into an envelope. The middle bit could be a spinner if you made it slightly smaller. It does turn, but not all the way around. I didn't really want mine to turn all the way around. And 3 of the panels are using the tulip paper. Well, actually 4, but one of them I've put as the reverse side so that there's an area that you can leave a personal message. I've also used the tulip stamp set, but I've only used the thank you stamp. Really, this is just about highlighting the designer paper. And the little bit at the top I've left hanging rather than cutting off, and I've put some of the really pretty brushed brass butterflies on just so that it's a little bit of added decoration. Don't know if you can see that. Okay, so it's fairly simple make. There's not too much to it. You will need a couple of bits. So you will need an A4 sheet of card in your chosen colour. Stampin'Up make this really simple with their designer series paper. So this is the paper that we're using, the Flower and Fields today. Lots and lots of different colours in there that you can pick. If I turn it over on the pack, it gives me a list of names of the colours that's in it. So I've just picked one of those and matched it. So today we are using Pear Pizzazz, which I don't really use very much. I use Old Olive a lot. I quite like Old Olive. And at first when I saw some of the paper, this side, I thought it was Old Olive. So that's probably why I picked it. But on closer inspection, could see it was Pear Pizzazz. So that's what we're going to use for our A4 card. This is the paper we're using, and then you need some dies. So, or punches, but you need 3. So you need 3 sizes of circle. So they're from the layering circles from Stampin'Up, and I'm just going to use those. A bit of glue, your sentiment, and a bit of ink. Pear Pizzazz the same, and of course your butterflies. And I think that's it. That's all you need. So while you gather those bits, I will get myself all sorted out. Some of the prep I've done beforehand, so you're not sitting waiting for me to get on with the make. So if we're ready, shall we begin? Let's craft. A4 sheet, we are going to cut it in half on the long side. So on the long side, you get your paper trimmer. Oh, now you're going to be able to see. On the long side, find 5 7/8 and cut that sheet in half. Okay, then turn those 2 pieces so they're again on the long side, and you're going to cut them at 4 1/8. And what happens is you end up with 4 pieces, 4 equal pieces like this. Okay, so there's 2 of the equal pieces. So now take 2 of your pieces, and you are going to line them at 2 1/16, which is just 1 line after 2 inches. Okay, and I'm going to do 2 at once. So if I just move that slightly so you can see. So that is going to go there. Line it up. I'm going to hold on to this part of the trimmer here, but I'm just going to use the scoring blade, and I'm just going to score through both at the 2 1/16. So I'm just going to go straight up, score on both of those pieces, and then do the other two exactly the same. So I end up with 4 sheets that are basically cut in half, but they're scored rather than cut. Okay. So the next thing we need is our medium circle die. So these are the dies, and I just want the medium one. Okay. And I'm going to do these together on my die cutting machine, whichever one you've got. I'm going to do 2, and I'm just going to use the centre line that I've scored just as my guide, and I'm going to run those through the big shot. And that, what you end up with is 2 like that. So now I do the other 2. I'm just going to use one of these as a template so that I get them all the same. Sorry, I should explain that on camera, shouldn't I? So this one, these 2 have already been done, and I want to make sure that these 2 are in the same place. So I'm laying one on top of the other one and just putting the die in place. Put them on top of both of them actually. So I'm just lining these up. You can use a bit of washi tape to hold them in place if you want to. Just like so. Put that on there. And then right through your die cutting machine. So now what I end up with is 3, and then 1 more to do. Four. And keep those circles because you're going to need those. Just put those to one side. So that's your base of your card done. So I'm putting that to one side. Now if I bring back the designer series paper, you need 4 pieces that are the same that are going to lay up on the top of here. Now depending whether you want a 1/4 of an inch frame, which is what I did on this one, or whether you want an 1/8 of an inch, you need to adjust your size for that. So this time I'm going to go for an 1/8 of an inch. So the size that I'm cutting is 4 inches by 5 6/8. I think this might already be nearly 4 inches. No, just needs a little bit of trim off the edge. Just that little bit there, so I don't need. So that's 4 inches by 5 6/8 or 5 3/4. There's 1. And I'm going to turn that round because I don't want to cut all of the purple tulips off. So there's my 2 pieces, and I need another 2 of those, which I've got here. So you now got 4 pieces. So 4 pieces to go on the top of your coloured card. Now we obviously need a circle that's slightly bigger so that our designer series paper will show here, okay? Show the card underneath. So I've gone for the next circle up, and then what I do is turn one of these pieces over, line, that's what I do. So get this centralised on here. Okay, so you can see the green frame all the way around. Carefully turn it over. Again, you can use washi tape if you don't trust that you can hold it in place. And then just draw around the circle with a pencil. No one's going to see it because it's going to be on the inside. And then what I do is get 2 pieces of the DSP, because you can cut 2 at once. Make sure they're both the same way up though, so that you're cutting the right place. Okay, that's up. And then lay your die over it so that you can see the pencil line inside. Just line them up exactly and put them through the die cutting machine as well. 2 of them. So now you end up with 4 pieces that have got slightly bigger holes, 4 of these, okay, put those to one side. So if I bring this back over, let's see if this fits over the top. Yes, okay. Now, you've already scored this, so use that as your line. This one isn't scored in the middle. So what I will do first is fold these over and make sure that that is really burnished. And then put this on with some Tombow glue. So I'm just going to stick this on, put some glue all over. You could do it with double-sided tape if you want to, whichever you prefer. And just line that up. If you concentrate on the circle rather than the frame around the edge, because that's the bit that your eye is drawn towards. So when you're happy with where that is, just keep pressing that for a little bit in it. And then just go back over the score line. Now, sometimes what I do is go put it back on my trimmer, put it back at 2 1/16, and just use your Stampin' Up trimmer just to reaffirm those score lines with the DSP on. Okay. So that's one done. You just keep repeating that with the other ones. Remember that you want one the other way round, like that. Okay, if you're doing it the same as me, that is. So I am gonna put, it's got to be that way because it's upside down. So that's how I know this is the one that I need on the opposite side of the paper. Okay, so that goes like that. Remember, line up the middle with your eye till you're happy. I'm just going to quickly glue these other ones. So you should end up with 4 panels covered in DSP. And I'm just going to bring my trimmer back and just reaffirm those score lines. Okay, that's 2, and the last one So there is a lot of lovely new DSP in the new catalogue. But I have to say the tulip one just instantly makes me think of spring. It seems to be a long January, doesn't it? I know we all try and not think about how long it is. But it certainly feels like it at the minute. So I'm just lining that up on the 2 and 1/16 again, which is just one line past the 2. And just making sure that that's really happy about being folded. Okay, so that's 2. Do the same with this one. One line past the 2 score line. Do the same with that. I'm nearly there. Nearly made a wow card. Okay, so that's the 3rd one. And this is the 4th one. No cats today. They're out chasing the birds. If you've watched my videos before, you may have seen them. Usually as soon as I'm crafting, they're here. I've got 2 ginger kittens. And oh, it's far worse than having children. My boys are both grown up now, and I'm sure they were easier than the kittens. Okay, so that is our 4 sides, which we'll come back to at the moment. Back to the pieces that we cut out. Okay, so the 4 circles, they're going to stay exactly the same because we know that they fit in the middle. And then what I'm going to do is cut 2 of them with tulips on, and I'm going to cut 2 white ones, and they are going to be out of a smaller circle, so they are just going to go inside. So again, I'm just going to put those together like that, and I'm going to do 2 at a time, and I'm just going to run them through the big shot. You could do this with different shapes in the middle. You could do it with a heart, you could do it with ovals. I'm sure it'd be a nice Valentine's make. I didn't think of that. Could have done that, couldn't I? Right, again, we're just going to put those straight in the middle. These circles are not scored, but the bigger ones are. So again, if you try and keep your eye on the line and just do it by sight. There you go, so I'm quite happy with that one. Do the second one, just make sure that the flowers are the right way up. And then what I did with the white ones, I stamped the sentiment from the tulip set. You are so thoughtful, thank you. And I'm just going to stick those on again, but again making sure that the line is to the top. And that my sentiment is upright as well. Because what you're going to do in a moment is fold these circles. Oh, that was the one that was... Good thing card is 2-sided, because that wasn't such a great stamp. On the other side. Okay, and again, while you've got those, you're going to bring your trimmer back in, and you're just going to do those score lines again. So you can see where the score line is. You just line it up. Oh. And just reaffirm that. And then fold it, because you want that to be able to be glued together. So that's one, and you just keep doing that. Put it there to line it up. Fold it in half. There you go, there's 2. This one is the same. So this is the first time I've played with this set actually. I've got a workshop on Saturday that I'm quite excited about because we haven't had a in-person workshop for such a long time. What with Christmas and all the other things that are going on. So I'm really looking forward to sharing some time with my ladies. Oh, that's not quite in the middle, so I'm just going to give that a little bit of help. Okay, so that's those four. Now, how do you put this together? Well, pick a side, any side, fold it in half, put some glue on one of the sides, okay, all over, or some double-sided. Pick another side and you're matching it to it. Now again, think about matching the circle bit and the rest will all come into place. So if you make sure that your circle, or folded, they're half circles, but if you make sure they match, the rest will look good. Okay, so that's two. Now I'm going to do another one. This could be a really good Mother's Day card, or a really nice Easter card as well actually. So again, I'm just bringing that one over. And I'm thinking about the circle bit in the middle, just making sure that they line up. And I'm just going to get my bone folder and just really make sure that that's stuck all over. And then the fourth one is where I'm going to have my personal message, so it's the other side. So again, we're doing this. Put some glue on this side and then matching them together. Making sure that that is like that. Okay, and just reaffirming those, looking at your circles, making sure they're all lined up lovely. And we're nearly there. So you can see you've got your card there. I'm just going to go to these ones now and do this. So the only thing to be careful of is that your flowers are the right way up and to your sentiment. And you do exactly the same as you did for the card. You're lining it up, just matching it and putting the four circles together. Well, remember this is not meant to spin, or it's not made to spin, and if you do want it to spin you need to do these circles slightly smaller. Okay, and then the last one is the tulip one. So I've got a sentiment, a tulip, a sentiment, a tulip, and that is just going there. So I'm just going to hold that for the minute and just make sure that that's stuck. Okay. Let's have a look. Ta-da! Okay. Now, I've got some pink twine, just because I wanted it to stand out. You could use invisible line. Sometimes I use my husband's fishing line, but you just want a piece that's just longer than the whole thing, because you can trim it down. And before you stick the last side, you're gonna put your circle in as well. Like so. So you're putting it all back together. You put your thread down through the middle. Put glue on one side of your card and glue on one side of your circle. And I also actually put some glue through the middle because I want the twine to stay in place. Okay, I don't want mine to come out. So when you're happy, make sure the twine is right in the middle and bring the side over and glue it all together, which my hands have just got really sticky, so it's sticking to me rather than the card. So I'm just going to help that go to the middle and help it to the middle there, and just go round and check that it's all centred. Okay, make sure that that is in the centre. The tulips are the right way up. And now what I'll do before I cut that is I will leave that to dry, okay, like so, before I add any weight to it or do anything more. So that is your card. Just make sure that that string comes out of the middle there. Okay, and at the bottom again, make sure it's coming out of the middle. So just press your card together on all four sides. And that is your four-sided non-spinner. In my case, non-spinner card. Just make sure that they're all stuck. But ta-da! Ta-da! Right, where's the one we made earlier? So if I bring that one back while that one's drying, so you can see what I've done there is I've just trimmed off the bottom there, left this bit long and added the butterfly. And although it doesn't spin round, there is some movement in it. And it folds flat. So, like so, to go in an envelope. Thank you for watching today. I hope you've enjoyed that. The tulip paper is just absolutely beautiful, and I think with all our stamping we forget sometimes to show it off, and both sides actually is equally as lovely. Plenty of room there for a sentiment. Thank you for watching. I'd love to see your makes, especially if you do a different shape in the middle or you make it spinning. Just get in touch at createdtheottaway@gmail.com. If you're in the UK and you'd like to shop with me, just look me up on the Stampin'Up website, and I also do workshops. So look forward to hearing from you. Thanks for watching. Bye.